it's like... That's pretty good.
Yeah, no, you haven't got it. I've practiced this.
I've
Ready?
been practicing, but... That was ridiculously good. What? That sounded exactly like a V6. Do the 458.
Okay. Yeah, 458. All right, ready?
James, that's it. How did you learn to do that? Seriously. Okay, do an LFA.
Oh God, you're really testing me now. I don't know if it's in my repertoire. I guess I'll find out.
Okay. Wait a second. What the? Who is? What is this?
I don't know who that is. I've never seen it before.
Yeah, whatever.
I was doing that was me.
Was it you now? Go ahead, do the LFA sound again right now while I'm watching and he's not making any noises. Let's see what you got. Throttle House. I'm Thomas.
And I'm James. And that is the Ferrari 296 GTB. And it's a lot more important than you might think. When you hear V6, hybrid, entry level, this car immediately comes off as Ferrari's attempt to get with the times, and it seems diluted. Because at first glance, the 296 is just like another hybrid thingy, and we normally associate that with three crimes: being overweight, being overcomplicated, and being overpriced. And barring the hypercar holy trinity, the newest sports car on the block, being a hybrid, is normally met with, yeah, thanks. I'm just gonna stick to my insert car here.
Crime number 1, being overweight. The jury finds the Ferrari not guilty. 3,200 pounds dry weight. That's light. That's hundreds of pounds lighter than an Acura NSX Type S. That's about the same weight as a V6 Lotus Emira. That car's not even a hybrid, and it's a Lotus. But what about being too overcomplicated? Okay, you see, this car is unbelievably complex. It starts with a 120-degree V6 engine, inside of which is a nitrided steel crankshaft, which is there to help offset the inherent weird balance of a V6 engine and lower the overall weight. And then inside the engine are 2 turbochargers, which spin to 180,000 RPM and spool faster and are lighter than the ones you get in the V8. And then underneath that is an electric motor with its own battery. And all of this is governed by a transition manager actuator, which is there to decouple the engine from the electric motor and start and stop the engine when needed. Now, everything I just told you there probably makes you think there's no way that this could be a pure sports car experience. But I put this to you. This is a vintage wristwatch from the 1970s. Inside is a complex set of gears that allow the tension of a wound mainspring to escape in tiny intervals, which is geared up or down, and the whole thing is lubricated by tiny jewels. It's insane, very complex and very cool. And the only thing that it does is tell you the time. The 296 does that watch thing. There's so much going on in the background, but you don't know. From in here, it's just Ferrari. It's just pure sports car experience. It's unbelievable. Everything works together so perfectly. I've got all these different modes if I want them. I can go right down into e-drive only mode, up to 136 kilometers an hour on the highway, full EV. Listen to this. I'm driving an EV Ferrari right now. And then if I want, I click it over into hybrid mode where it switches how it sees fit. Still charging the battery. Race mode, way more power. Engine is always on, and it charges the battery a little bit when needed under braking and that sort of thing. And then my favorite, there is a qualifying mode. You click that on like an F1 driver. And a qualifying hot lap. It just deploys. And it is shockingly, stinkingly, disgustingly fast. This car is as fast, it feels as fast as any car I've ever driven. And it delivers the power so seamlessly. And that V6, it's actually the best news. It's brilliant, it's wonderful. It revs high, it feels like a Ferrari, and it sounds unbelievable. It barks, and it shouts, and it screams. The Ferrari F8 Tributo I found to be a little bit dull. It was a little bit boring sounding. This isn't. This sounds excellent. And the transmission is so fast. But seriously, this car is so quick. Just don't turn the traction control off. It would be seriously dumb. It's constantly flickering at me. And what I love about this is that Ferrari probably had to do this. They probably had to make a hybrid for emissions and laws and rules and the future and technology and whatever. And so what they did was, instead of just begrudgingly making one, they made one. They're like, let's do this properly. All the technology and engineering they put into that engine, like I was talking about before, is insane. It's light, the whole car is light. Everything feels so performance focused. 818 horsepower. They said, screw it. We might as well make it hyper fast. And they did. And it's a bit scary, especially on these roads. This car is a representation of what may yet trickle down to us in the future in more affordable sports cars. It's proof. It's living proof that hybrid battery-laden cars can be light and fast and pure and exciting. But it's not all good.
Okay, the last crime. Is it overpriced? Well, it's not off to a very good start, to be honest, because for this entry-level little V6 Ferrari, you can get one of these, a 4-litre flat-six Cayman GTS. And you can get a Lotus Emira. And a Corvette Z06. Yeah. And a Range Rover. And a GR Corolla. And a nice holiday in France with caviar and rosé being served by Jean-Francois or Philippe André. So, yeah, it's expensive. But what is money, you know? It's only the value we give it, and this has been given a value as spec'd of $444,000 US. That is an absolute fortune. And I will say, Thomas has shown us that the overcomplicated part isn't just for the sake of being overcomplicated. It works. It's light. It's crazy fast. Sounds brilliant as well. But for that money, you can get crazy fast and sounding good cars. The Corvette Z06 just came and showed us that. For the extra money, what is the Ferrari magic? Where is it? Why are you spending that? Why are you not getting a Cayman GT4? Why are you not getting a Porsche? Why does a Porsche become the poor man's Ferrari? What's that missing piece? It's the chassis, and this has it in droves. What a stunning, stunning drive. We said the F8 drove pretty. It was your dance partner. And this just becomes the exact same thing. Just coming around these canyons, there's so much communication coming through the car. There isn't as much communication, I'll say, coming through the steering though. It's very numb. I was just in an Audi S8 that waited up.
better around the corners, and that's a Luxo barge from Audi. The F8 had better steering than this. I wish there was a bit more there, but the speed, the shift lights, and the cocktail that is confidence, for me, is grip and composure and steering feel. So it's missing just one little leg of that tripod. But fortunately, the other legs are so big and so strong that it's basically just become a man with a small willy. It just isn't the ultimate. And that's the sort of metaphor you can get on Throttle House. What a machine. What a machine. It's all Ferrari. It's all Ferrari. The hybrid, the plugs for butts, all those concepts fall out the window, apart from the beeping. Speaking of the beeping, when I say it's all Ferrari, some of it's a little bit modern Ferrari as well. But we'll talk about that in a second.
There you go.
That interior was getting annoyed at me, beeping at me.
Oh, did you have to interact with it? Did you have to like use the wipers or any of the stuff inside the car? We'll get to that in a minute.
It's a Ferrari.
Oh, you can say that. It's a Ferrari.
It's a nice key.
Here, okay, I feel so bad for the engineers that did this incredible drivetrain and all of the tech that I was talking about, and then the guys that did the UI were finger popping each other's assholes. Right?
Yeah.
Why is it so bad?
I think it was designed by the Ferrari Formula One strategy team on the weekends. After some beers.
They weren't even paying attention. Yeah. It has that vibe.
We'll get to the interior in a second, all right?
Yeah.
Because on the outside, I think this looks, first of all, spectacular.
It is beautiful.
But it also looks baby Ferrari. I think something about the soft edges here. It's almost like little chubby cheeks. Like it has this baby Ferrari look, even if it costs 100,000 more than the F8 we tested.
Does it?
Yeah. But you get 3 cars in one because at the front, Ferrari.
Ferrari, yeah.
Middle, on the profile, that's all Evora.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
And then at the back, the way this haunch comes over, I'm sure there's a classic Ferrari that it pays homage to. But I'm seeing Ford GT.
I absolutely agree. Like the way that this goes here and then this comes up is very Ford GT.
Yeah, that's all Ken Miles right there.
This is pure Ken Miles. This is a beautiful car, and I think that it's one of like the first Ferraris in a while that's just pretty. They've been like crazy and wild and awesome. Those are the words that I would use. But since the 458,
You knew the 458 was going to. We stood exactly here and discussed the F8, and you were like, "But the 458."
But the 458.
Any Ferrari conversation, but have you thought about the 458?
Because it's perfect. It's a perfect Ferrari supercar, and this is so close to being that. From the driving perspective, you just drove it in the canyons. Is it not insanely good?
It's brilliant.
It is so good to drive.
I love the bark of the engine. I think they could have showcased it a bit more. This like smoked glass means you don't even get. I know it's just the 6, but it is cool looking.
It is cool
and you
looking.
don't get to see it.
No, I know. Well, there's some. I mean, I should have leaned into the fact that there's big orange cables there for the batteries and stuff, right? It's neat.
But a lot of the discussion around this car has it like, what's the point in the SF90? Because we've been talking about this. I think as time goes on, this is going to be remembered as kind of like the first of the hybrids. It's going to seem a bit scary, but the SF90 was first. And I think this even like, look at the back. From the back, I wouldn't be able to tell you if this is an SF90 or a 296.
Yeah, they're very similar.
Because I'm just not a huge Ferrari nerd, so
no, I don't know the minor details. But I mean, this is beautiful.
Ferrari know what they're doing.
Yes. Well, on the outside, and in the engine. Maybe not in the interior.
All right, you know what? Let's just do this.
Let's just get this over with.
Let's just do this.
All right, get it. I can't even open it because it's so quirky.
It's a Ferrari.
Open the car.
You treat it with respect, Thomas. It's a lady. All right.
Okay. Yeah. And there it is. Yep.
Because the door's closed.
No, it's because your seatbelt's not on. Even though the car is in park with the parking brake on.
There you go.
It will come back.
No.
Actually, we don't know because the entire thing is completely unpredictable.
Well,
okay, I put it to you, James.
Yeah.
You said that, what did you say exactly? You said a Ferrari.
Ferrari know how to make a sports car.
Know how to make a sports car.
Yeah.
I don't think they know how to make a sports car. I think they know how to make a sports the car part,
Right.
they're not very good at.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is a complete and utter disaster. From top to bottom, this is the worst designed user interface and interior I have ever experienced, probably ever made in the car world in human history.
Where's my phone? I have a reminders list of places I want to visit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to take Maranello off.
You take Marinette, yeah, because we should never go there. After I'm
No, we're not going to be allowed there.
Yeah, that's what I meant, because I'm not even done. So we talked about this in the Roma video, and I went in depth at this, but I don't think that people talk about this enough.
No, because it's big. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. You cannot use this as a car. You absolutely cannot use this as a car. All of this is like a touch screen button. They've removed my engine start-stop button, which was a fun part of Ferrari's big red start-stop button. That's gone. And you have to control everything. There's no infotainment over here. It's all in the gauge cluster. And I have this little trackpad right here, which is insanely laggy and doesn't work when you want it to. Apple CarPlay covers the tach. Actually doesn't cover it. It removes it.
Replaces it.
It replaces the tach.
Yeah.
So either you can know where you're going or know what your revs are at. You can't have both at the same time.
Even then, part of the beauty of the tach was...
That was the best part. It was like these big yellow Ferrari tachs with the needle that goes up. It's so cool. And everything is so poorly laid out and designed and complicated. The steering wheel does 10,000 different things. None of them quickly.
No, I think this car is best when everything is off and the screens are off.
Yes, and then you can appreciate the design.
I got a little screen here.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where you don't mind it being quirky, but when you want old, like if they were to remake Gone in 60 Seconds right now,
Yeah.
and he's in Eleanor going, come on,
Okay.
come on.
Yeah.
The new rage version would be him going, okay,
Hold on a second. I just
shit.
got a Bluetooth.
Yeah.
I just got a Bluetooth
I was just
my
gonna.
phone. Why is it, how do I find it? Do
I'm
I
gonna
go in?
steal it in a second. Hang on.
I have the Bluetooth first, and then it will show up.
And somehow, even though the plot is that bad, Nicolas Cage will still star in it. He'll still do it.
Yes, exactly. Now listen, I honestly don't mind a few Italian car quirks. Like
No.
I like it when Italian cars are very clearly they cared about the engine first and the rest of it second.
Yes, yes.
And you know what? I think it's endearing that James has broken 2 Ferrari 458s now in his history of being with Ferrari 458s.
No.
Yeah, you pulled the window switch off of a what?
The 458 Speciale.
Speciale, right off in his hand, and then you pulled the roof switch.
Well, it's down here as well. But
Oh,
yeah,
it's a roof
I pulled
switch.
off the roof switch in Tyler Hoover's from Hoover's garage. His
And you know what? It's just like,
458.
oh, it's funny. It's a little thing. They didn't make it very well, and you click it back on. But
It wasn't funny. I was like, oh god.
but still, like nothing in this car works at all.
Well, the materials feel fantastic. Like from seat
Oh, the
to
leathers
grip.
are amazing. Like the floor mats are literally leather.
I'm just wondering who they did it for. Who was this for?
Who is this for?
No, the over-modernization of the cabin.
I don't know.
For who?
I don't understand why
for
they've.
whom?
For whom? I don't understand why they've done it. Because the previous gen, which was in the F8 and is in the F12 and whatever, all those cars,
Yeah.
is brilliant.
Yeah,
It's so good.
but Ferrari have proved, like, this isn't Ferrari not being able to modernize, because they just, with the plug-in hybrid today, wow, have they proved their ability to do that.
Probably more than anyone else I think I've ever driven, right?
Yeah.
But the rest of the car they can't seem to do. Like there's so many other quirks that aren't even just part of the design. They're actually quirks in the car. Like the turn signal on this thing sounds like it's from a car from the 1970s. It clicks with like surges of electricity. It goes like tick 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 tick. I'm not even making this up. And the rear engine cover lid, if it's not clicked all the way down, it will pop you out of gear when you're in reverse. And even though this one is clicked all the way down, sometimes it registers as not clicked all the way down. So we actually have video of Harrison, our sound guy, and Karston, who's moving the car at that point. Harrison had to hold the trunk lid down while they backed up so that it registered as being closed.
That, to me, that seems like the Italian car quirk that you're okay with.
Yeah, that one. If that was that and just that, then sure, we'd all laugh about it and we would go, oh, but it drives so well and it's beautiful. But it's not. It's unusable.
I think
And no one's talking about this enough.
No, it really is a failure.
Yeah.
But the hybrid stuff, I think, for me, is very hopeful. You
Absolutely.
hear that the Miata might go hybrid,
Yep.
or that the Cayman's going to go hybrid,
Yep.
and you think, oh god, like that means it's going to have the 3 crimes.
Yes.
And this has only got the 1 crime.
This is only, yeah, the price.
Nice.
It's really, really expensive. Yeah, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Not bad.
Right?
Not bad.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
So, the 296 can dance, just like a Ferrari should. And it's even learned to sing. The Lambo still has it, but this time, Ferrari have actually managed to make the V6 sound better than the F8 Tributo's V8, at least out of the box. The electric side of its personality takes away nothing from the supercar experience, and if anything, it completes the package with Ferrari-level mastery. From the driver's seat, this car is a masterclass in next-gen, lightweight, rear-wheel drive, hybrid supercardom. Clearly, we wish it hadn't inherited the slow and, frankly, awful interior UI. And yes, one could argue that some quirk or difficulty adds to the mystique of an Italian supercar. But we could do without that, to be honest, because learning to tame this spicy little 800 horsepower chili pepper is already enough mystique for us. Thanks for watching.
Okay, all right, let's see what you got. Give me a Huracan.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. That's insane. All right, you go. Pick one.
Oh, I didn't want to do another voice. What about a rotary? What about something like an RX-7? The realistic gaps are my favorite.
The shifts, the everything, the turbo. Okay.
What about, I think people want to see a 2JZ.
2J?
Yeah. Okay. Unbelievable. Do you have a favorite? What's your favorite to do?
LFA is probably my favorite.
All right, do it one more time. We'll end on the LFA. Let's see it. Let's see what you got. Absolutely outrageous.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Thank you for coming.
That was great. Thank you
for
so
coming.
much.
Thank you so
That
much.
was fantastic.
See ya.